Hey students, this is teacher Amy, and I'm glad you're here. And maybe you're a curious student thinking about playing more on the piano, or maybe you're just curious, what's teacher Amy doing in her music closet today? Anyways, so thanks for joining me. Today we're going to chat about ways that you can keep your body feeling awesome when you're playing the piano. So one of the things I love to mention when I talk about sitting at the piano is that every body has a different way that it loves to sit. And one of the biggest, most important things about being a player of music or a piano player is that you'll want to get good at listening to your body and thinking, is my body feeling comfortable? Are my shoulders feeling tight? Or is my neck getting a little crick? Or is it feel hard to play? Or is it starting to feel easier? So a teacher like myself, one of my jobs is to help give you ideas for feeling comfortable at the piano. And if you have a grown-up at home, they can help listen in too, and you guys can run all over the house and think, how can we find a great way to sit at the piano and make sure that our body stays feeling great? So one of the first things you'll do is, if you've got a piano bench that is adjustable, you'll want to find it out if you can raise it to a height that you're not having to reach up to the piano. That's one of the hardest things. If you're reaching up like this, kind of can make your wrist tight, and all of a sudden gravity is pulling on your fingers, and it actually makes it really hard to move your fingers if gravity's pulling them down. So if anything, it's easier to be a touch higher than the keys. I jumped out of the camera to show you it's a little bit easier to be there. Now, traditionally, when we talk about piano position, we kind of experiment with having this sort of shape in your arms. So your hands feel relaxed at the keys, your body feels balanced, and it feels like you can move from side to side on your bench. But again, everyone has a different body, so a great teacher and a helpful parent can help you find a way that really works for you. So the next thing we look at is, if you're tall enough, it can be great to have your feet on the floor and feel like I could give you a little push, boop, and you wouldn't fall off the bench. Just as a funny note, one time I was playing a really fast feet piece and I slid and I wasn't balanced and I went, whoa, and I fell off the bench, but I caught myself on my one leg, so I didn't crash to the floor. Anyways, that's random, but it happened to me. So I like to make sure students are balanced. That might mean that if you're still short enough that you can't reach the floor, maybe your parents could look for a little footstool for you so that when you're at the piano, you feel balanced and secure. And that will help you be able to reach the high notes and the low notes. So the last thing that I like to look at is making sure that the core of your body feels good. Some of us have really an ability to sit tall, and for some it might feel really hard to sit tall. So it's okay. You're learning, and we're going to adapt to your body and figure out the best way for you to sit. But again, the most important thing is that you're listening to your body, you feel comfortable, and we want to keep your arms healthy so they don't feel too tight when you're trying to play. So the next part is for your grown-ups. So they can look for a bench that's adjustable or a chair that they can put something on to raise you up if you need. The next thing is, if you're someone who likes to move a lot and it's really hard for you to sit, there's also some other things that I sometimes suggest. So this is called a wobble cushion, and it's really fun and a little bit tippy, and sometimes you could even slide it under you, and you'd have to get really balanced, but it might help some of you stay in place long enough to play some piano. So that's one idea. The footstool will also help, because when you're feeling off balance, it's hard to stay and play. The last thing is, if you have an adjustable keyboard that can go to a standing position, we can talk about ways to stand at your piano and still feel great. One of those tips is that it's not too high for you. So we want to make sure that you could just stand comfortably with your shoulders nice and relaxed and play. So those are my top tips today. Thanks for listening in, and you can ask your grown-up and say, oh, I don't understand this. Can we ask Teacher Amy? And so you can send me a note or comment, and I'll give you a hand. So thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.